This is just a short video on the paperwork for the adoptions. In the envelope, we'll generally have three things: the SPCA copy of the adoption agreement, the client copy of the adoption agreement, including the animal information sheet, and the microchip registration form if the cat has been microchipped. So we'll start with the SPCA copy of the adoption agreement. The first thing we need is the Royal Canin adoption kit number. These are the boxes of food which are underneath condo number 8. Every time a cat is adopted, it goes home with one of those adoption kits. We'll make sure the date is on here. The client, under identification, will put their driver's license number and all of their personal information. On other pages, make sure each of the gray sections that is grayed out, make sure the client initials these paragraphs, including 7E. We'll see another one there. And at the bottom, date, name and signature of the adopter, as well as SPCA representative, that's you, the volunteer. On the appendix, make sure they look at Appendix A carefully. This is the 10-day health guarantee, basically 10 days if there's a respiratory infection of the animal. The vet at the SPCA will look at the animal for free. There are the symptoms. Make sure they initial the gray areas, date and sign, and you do as well. When we see the checklist, we leave this document for now, and we'll go to the client copy of the adoption agreement. The animal information sheet, the client is welcome to review this for any health notes regarding the cats and any vaccination history. All vaccinations were administered by a technician. Make sure you do tell the client that, because some Ontario vets won't recognize vaccinations administered by a technician. Sometimes they only recognize them by a fully licensed vet. Adoption agreement, client copy. They don't need to fill this part out because they know their own information. They can fill that out at home. But make sure the date, make sure the Royal Adoption Kit number, and make sure that the initials are there, just like on the SPCA copy. Make sure, again, the date is there. Make sure your own name and signature are there at the bottom. And under Appendix A, make sure they initial the gray sections, and again, date and your name as well. The third document is the microchip registration form. Pretty straightforward, personal information, and make sure they sign and date the bottom. The fourth thing is the iPad itself. So make sure to look at the YouTube video for the iPad process. After the iPad, you go back to the SPCA copy of the documents, and you go to the final checklist. And make sure all these things were done before the adoption is finished. So the adoption contract, the questionnaire, that's just simple common sense whether the adopter is the right fit for the cat. The microchip documents. Mention the 10-day health coverage with the SPCA. That's for respiratory infections only. There's a 45-day pet care coverage health insurance, which is attached to the client copy of the contract. And that's about it for the paperwork. Make sure you watch the other YouTube on the iPad process. Thank you very much.